All right, welcome in, everybody. Fresh on the heels of the great Killer Bees. Jeremy and Joel. Having to find my way around the studio here. It's been a while since I've been back in here, so we'll struggle to get going here. All right, Guillermo Lazo Romero. You know, when you know Guillermo is wearing a Barcelona top, you know something good must have happened to Barcelona. Champions League today, like yesterday, just off the charts. By the way, who is calling Lionel Messi a dwarf possessed with the face of a devil? Who would even dare do that? We'll talk about that tonight. Another big hour of soccer talk. We're underway, presented by the Daspit Law Firm. Champions League matches, the last 2 days have been, it's just extraordinary quality. It is the best league in the world. There is no doubt. Best teams, best players, they all funnel there. Extraordinary quality. Cracking goals. You know, who do I sound like? Dare I say it? Bangers and worldies. All these great words to describe goals. Yeah, you heard it. Bangers and worldies. The two fastest spreading words in the world it's bangers and worldies. Call-in number tonight, 713-780-3776. That's ESPN. Streaming at ESPN975.com. Big 2 days, Champions League. We got all kinds of things to talk about. Now, tonight, later on, you've got Lionel Messi and Inter Miami against Rayados down in Monterrey, Mexico. There's a lot going on in Monterrey. It's one of the great soccer capitals of the world. 2-1 aggregate lead for Rayados. After the first leg, Lionel Messi was called a possessed dwarf with the face of a devil by the Monterrey assistant coach Nico Sanchez. What's weird about this, Nico Sanchez is Argentine. There's usually not many Argentines that are going to criticize Leo Messi, who won him a World Cup. Now, this happened in the tunnel after the first leg. There's a lot of controversy as to what happened. It was caught on audio. Fernando Ortiz, the head coach of Monterrey, prior to the first match, said he was concerned about favoritism towards Lionel Messi and calls and things like that. Messi got fired up down there, and it was very confrontational. Apparently, it got confrontational with Tata Martino as well. So this just kind of enhances tonight's match in Monterrey. I would just say this. I would not do anything to stoke the fires of Leo Messi. And I would not be surprised if tonight he goes off and scores a couple of goals or plays outstanding against Monterrey. Now, we go back to Tigres against Columbus last night. And this was something special. Columbus Crew advanced on penalty kicks over Tigres. This was at El Volcan, the other stadium in Monterrey, the home of Tigres. It was a 1-1 draw in regulation and overtime. And by the way, they did this without a very talented holding midfielder, Aiden Morris, who's the kind of guy you would need on the road in Mexico. He got sent off in the first leg. So it was an incredibly rough start for the Columbus Crew. They had this dogged insistence on playing out of the back early. Okay, now, remember, you're in Mexico. You're doing this at El Volcan. There's close to 40,000 people here. If you looked early in the game, Tigres was getting high up the field and trying to press you. Gignac was really prowling around, and he's a really savvy guy, Andre-Pierre Gignac. But he was prowling around the box and already had an early chance because of a giveaway. So let's go to this play where it's passed back by Morera to Patrick Schulte. First of all, everybody's jumping on Schulte. What a huge mistake. No kidding. But it's a mistake that should never have had to have happened because I firmly believe Morera should never have played that ball back to him. First of all, he could have played it forward at that stage of the game, 3 minutes in, against Tigres. He could have played it forward. He had about 8-9 yards between pressure. Could have hit one to the corner flag, stuck it up the line, got them out of their own half of the field. I don't think they started the game wisely. There was this weird insistence on playing out of the back. So Morera turns, plays it to Schulte. Plays it on his left foot, though. Schulte, to my knowledge, is right-footed. So he plays it on the inside of him towards the goal instead of outside in a way where Schulte could have got a run at it with his comfortable right foot and stuck it in the crowd or did whatever he wanted to do. So instead, Schulte gets on it, and I mean, basically, if you watch it very closely, he's trying to turn with the sole of his foot in there with Gignac around him, and it's got to be one of the most embarrassing goals ever. He then goes on, though, to make big saves in the game, and he becomes the penalty kick hero because the Crew grows into the game after Tigres fails to capitalize in these early moments in the game. Tigres could have put that game away. They don't, and it leads to then the opportunity for the Columbus Crew to find their game. So let's go to some of the sound bites here. Here's the bizarre play where Moreira knocks it back to his goalkeeper, Patrick Schulte, who, by the way, was the MLS Cup winning goalkeeper. Schulte gets stripped by Gignac. This is 3 minutes in.
Schulte with Gignac for company. It's a giveaway. It is a disaster for the Columbus Crew. 2.5 minutes in.
Second half, though, they begin to find their game. By the way, they have the better possession. You can't win in Mexico too often without having a good portion of the possession and being able to control a game and make an opponent work. And Columbus did that, to their credit. Columbus is a great team. I think they're the best watch for me in Major League Soccer. They're the most enjoyable team for me to watch. Okay, here's the equalizer. It comes from Diego Rossi, who comes back to Major League Soccer from Fenerbahce in Turkey.
Cucho took it in stride, cuts it in, a little bit of a stumble. Cucho into the middle, it's Mohamed Farsi, it's Rossi who ties the game and ties the series for Columbus with half an hour to go.
By the way, Farsi, Yeboah playing excellent, and they're not household names, but these guys playing excellent for the Columbus Crew. So it then goes to penalties after extra time. And what would you do? You'd bring up from UC Davis in California, a college player by the name of Maximilian Arfsten. You probably didn't know him ahead of last night. You know him now. He hits the game-winning penalty for the Crew after Schulte saved the first two penalty takers for Tigres, including Gignac. Here's Arfsten with a legendary game-winning goal and a rarity with Columbus advancing past Tigres in Mexico.
His nerve and bury this kick. Yes! And the Columbus Crew are the first MLS team ever to beat Liga MX opposition in a penalty shootout in CONCACAF play, and they are on to the Champions Cup semifinal.
On they are. And tonight, let's see if Inter Miami can pull it off as well. A night of drama, mistakes, redemption, and a lot of pride for Major League Soccer. I mean, you know, the one thing about CONCACAF Champions League, and I would say it'll eventually carry over more to Leagues Cup, is that these are moments where you get everybody who's supportive of Major League Soccer kind of pulling the oars in the same direction, because you generally want the MLS teams to do well, and they don't have great records against Mexico. So give it to Wilfred Nancy. He's put together a team that you want to watch probably over anybody outside of Inter Miami. So fantastic stuff there. All right, let's go to full-time. It's 2-2 Arsenal and Bayern Munich. Harry Kane scored a penalty in the 32nd, but let's go to soundbite number 2, where Arsenal in the 76th, with a goal from Leandro Trossard, ties it at 2-2.
Gabriel Jesus, clever, Trossard, 2-2. Leandro Trossard, who scored a vital goal against Porto here in the last round, strikes again.
So Arsenal fans are not going to like what I say. Neither will our former good friend and producer, Andrew Carlson. But for me, Saka initiated the contact with Manuel Neuer coming off his line. That could have been a very important penalty at that point. What do you say about that penalty, Guillermo?
Honestly, upon first watch, it really does look like that. Like, Saka goes to find that penalty, goes to challenge Neuer, and he could have done a lot better.
Bottom line is, at the end of the day, we can debate it, and these are the types of plays that people will debate till they're blue in the face, but it comes subjectively down to referees and a VAR crew. So It'll be 2-2 coming back for the second leg. Here's Arteta post-match reaction.
Well, I think we started the game really well. We were dominant. We played in the opponent's half. We generated some momentum, scored the first goal, and then it's a critical moment of the match. Ben White is in front of Neuer to make it 2-0, and we have to put that ball in the back of the net, and then becomes a different moment. And then in Champions League, you cannot give anything to the opponent. We have given them 2 goals today, and when you have these situations, they are going to punish you. And that's the biggest lesson. The margins are very small in this competition. It's really difficult to penetrate opponent, to create big quality chances against this level of opposition. Make sure as well we don't give anything. But I think the team showed a lot of composure, especially after 2-1.
So there he said it. He said it pretty clearly there. It's we gave the opponent 2 goals, meaning they made mistakes. Opponents still have to take advantage of mistakes, and so you have to credit Bayern Munich for that. Here's Harry Kane, because he comes back to the Emirates taking on Arsenal, where he has many, many times when he used to be at Tottenham. Here's Harry Kane on coming back to Emirates Stadium.
Yeah, it was strange, if I'm honest. I think, of course, I didn't expect to be back here so quick into my Munich career. But yeah, look, it was a good occasion. It was a tough game. We knew Arsenal obviously have a lot of quality, especially here in their home. So we had to dig deep at times. But overall, it's been a good experience to come back. A good game, a tough game, and now all to play for next week in Munich.
Well, Bayern Munich is going to put all their eggs now in the basket of the UEFA Champions League, because they have no chance of winning the Bundesliga with what Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen are doing. They're still undefeated. So I got to say, knowing Bayern Munich, there's a very good chance they're going to eliminate Arsenal going back to Munich, Germany. We'll see. We'll see. All right, let's move on to Manchester City and Real Madrid. I mean, you think about just spectacular goals and you go, wow, if you see some spectacular goal over the course of 90 minutes, you go, wow, But when you see like 3 or 4 of them, it really can be mind-blowing sometimes. So here's the 71st minute. This makes it 3-2. Josko Vardiol, and this is a spectacular goal for Manchester City.
Which way this time? Inside. Vardiol. Nobody saw that coming.
No, and that's kind of an unlikely source. And, you kind of did a double take when Vardiol hit that, but it's a spectacular goal. And then, equally spectacular is a response here in the 80th minute by Real Madrid. This will make it 3-3. That's what the final would be. Vinicius Jr. plowing down the left side, who, by the way, is going to be in College Station with Brazil. You can get your tickets at Lone Star Sports and Entertainment, lsse.net, if you want. But Brazil is coming to play Mexico on, I think it's the 8th of June. That's a warm-up for the Copa America. You can also get your Copa America tickets at lsse.net. But again, anyway, Vinicius Jr. comes down the left side. He picks out an unmarked run from Federico Valverde, and I mean, literally puts it on his left foot. He hits it on a dead run. And this is just a spectacular volley king type goal in the 79th minute to tie it at 3.
So Modric rolling back the years here, scurrying away from defenders. Vinicius Junior, oh, what a shot! What a goal that is! Real Madrid are level again. It's a strike of beauty from Fede Valverde.
Yeah, you got your money's worth if you were live at that game. We'll come back. We'll get some Pep Guardiola reaction. We'll get into today's Champions League matches. Got some data and numbers on this just incredible Caitlin Clark draw for women's basketball. And for those of you out there going, oh, how come you're not talking about South Carolina? Because these numbers would never have occurred without Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry. Get over it. And by the way, South Carolina wouldn't have been able to win another title in front of the amount of people that viewed this game. And the numbers are absolutely staggering. And it's awesome. All right, we're going to take a break here. Before we go to break, LamontBrands.com. They have all your branding needs covered. Embroidery, screen, printing, laser engraving. It's all done in-house with Jerry and Mel Lamont. Amazing service. This is where you get your Soccer Matters T-shirts and hats. to benefit the 501c charity Snowdrop Foundation. Come on, pick up some of these T-shirts. Light cotton. We got a lot of orange in now. We got a lot of red in for Liverpool supporters groups and Dynamo and Dash fans. YouTube Soccer Matters. Go over there. Subscribe. X and Instagram, Glenn Davis Soccer at Soccer Matters GD. Facebook Soccer Matters and Glenn Davis. Okay, so we love those that subscribe, like, follow, comment. Call because I need these data points and engagements. They help keep us on the air. And 22 years of providing soccer coverage. We take a break. We come back. We got Champions League and more to talk about.
You're listening to Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5.
And on ESPN 92.5.
Brought to you by the Daspit Law Firm. From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Glenn Davis.
All right, call-in number 713-780-3776, 713-780-3776. What does the Inter Miami Rayados game mean to you tonight? How big of a win was this for the Columbus Crew for Major League Soccer? Were you pulling for them? We will have Pat Onstad come on the show a little bit later. Some rules that will have to be ratified by the MSLPA, the Major League Soccer Players Association, but it looks like it's going to happen. And it's going to give more of an opportunity for teams to enhance their rosters and spend more. We're going to talk about these rule changes tonight with Pat Onstad on the show. Leagues Cup. Get your tickets now. 2024 Leagues Cup. You got Inter Miami and Tigres coming here. Be a part of the action at Energy Stadium Saturday, August 3rd, 7 p.m. Messi, Inter Miami coming. Defending Leagues Cup champions, don't forget. And they'll take on Tigres of Mexico. The second edition of the League Cup, 18 clubs from the Mexican League, 29 clubs from Major League Soccer. It's year 2 of the tournament, representing the U.S. and Canada, and you have a chance to watch an epic matchup right here in Houston. It's Tigres, Inter Miami, and we all know why it's here because we know this is Tigres country as well as Rayados country. Don't wait. Tickets going fast for this event. LSSC.net. LSSC.net for tickets, parking, suite opportunities. LSSC.net. Okay, let's get into yesterday's, just to cap off the 3-3 draw between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Here's Pep Guardiola with his post-match reaction.
Yeah, have been incredible goals. The last from Valverde, the second from Phil Josko. Even for Bernardo, who's a smart vision. So, yeah, always you have to control the transitions. Madrid it's impossible. It's impossible. So they are built for that, and of course they have the quality for the possession because Toni Kroos moved the team incredible. And after transition, they're so fast. But we take the 3-3. So the analysis is simple. Madrid wins semi-final. We'll win semi-final. So we have to win again.
Yeah, transition. Real Madrid was really, really dangerous, especially in the first half. But there always are because it's ridiculous what they have up front with Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, and then Bellingham in and around them. And as you heard Pep Guardiola mention, Toni Kroos. So Erling Haaland was a ghost. Credit Rudiger and Chouamani for basically taking him out of the game. He was a ghost. I don't know if there's some asset to him occupying those guys, though, because you did score goals in and around and kind of from wide areas and angles. So I don't know. Interesting. I will say today, too, as we get into today's matches, the quality of goals are they're breathtaking, honestly. They take your breath away. Your eyes pop out of your head. They're so good. All right. PSG took a 2-1 lead here today after going down 1-0. Vitinha in the 50th minute as PSG was taking on Barcelona.
No chance for... Now Ruiz could it be to Vitinha! 5 minutes is all that was needed for Paris Saint-Germain to turn this tie on its head!
Let it breathe. Ah, yes. Fantastic. You love hearing the crowd, the excitement of the commentator. Rafinha, who's going to be coming to College Station. You can see Brazil there at the legendary Kyle Field. That's going to be something. Canary yellow jersey up in College Station. Who would have ever thought about it, Guillermo? Unbelievable. And immediately when you think of that jersey, you go to Pelé, you go to Ronaldo, you go to Zico, you go to Socrates, Tafarel, Roberto Carlos. The names the images just start exploding in your head. You can just sit here and name names, right? Carlos Alberto. I have a good Carlos Alberto story because when I was playing, he was the coach of Miami in the league I was in. I'll have to tell that one day. It's a very funny story, actually. All right, 713-780-3776. So at that point, Vitinha put PSG up 2-1. Rafinha equalizing in the 62nd minute, only 12 minutes later to make it 2-2.
Was spot on by Gundogan. Just didn't get enough touch on it. And in behind from Pedri, Rafinha, the volley! That is a glorious ball from Pedri. And Rafinha volleying home the equalizing goal. On and on we go in this Champions League quarterfinal.
So what's crazy about that goal is it's an absolutely straight ball right out of the middle of midfield that goes behind the defense. Rafinha runs in there, and it's almost like it comes over his shoulder, and he's got it, and he hits it out of the air. It's as direct as it comes, but the degree of difficulty on this finish is unbelievable. And it was a great ball from Pedri, but to hit it out of the air like that, it's like to make a Willie Mays reference, when he made the catch be over his head. It's just a fantastic goal, and it's as direct as can be, and it's the kind of goal you don't see very often. All right, then 77th minute. This is the game-winning goal for Barcelona. Now, Donnarumma, who's in goal for Real Madrid, is, like 6'5" or 6". He's a big kid. And this guy is he must have had cement boots on because he is absolutely stuck on the line. This is headed in from 4 yards away, and you're just saying to yourself, come on, get off your line and punch that out of there. Come on, big boy. Start eating some scorpion for breakfast or, eat a few nails or something. That's your ball. And that cost them. And I say goalkeeping cost you there. So here's Christensen's goal to win it for Barcelona.
Gundogan to take this corner. Swung into the heart of the header is on! Andreas Christensen straight off the bench to give Barcelona the lead again!
Yep. And that would be the final score. Here's Xavi post-match. This is a big, big win for Barcelona.
It's a big win, of course. Away, in Champions League, so it's a big win. But missing one game in Barcelona, of course, we did really well in defense, in attack, especially in defense. Everybody worked for the team. Tactically, we did really, really well, really well. The wingers helped us a lot. Kubarsi jumped so well to first to Kang In Lee and then sometimes to Asensio, sometimes to because they change a lot of players. We defend so well Mbappe. With Koundé and Ronald Araujo, and we create many chances. I think Robert made the difference, Rafinha, and then the players that came inside did really well, help us a lot, especially Pedri. And Christensen also with the corner. Yes, we did so well. That's why I'm really happy. It's a big win, but missing one game in Barcelona will be tough, will be difficult because Paris Saint-Germain is one of the best teams in Europe right now.
Yeah, it's not over with Mbappe. Don't forget. By the way, are we all going over to Xavi's house tomorrow to convince him to stay here if this run continues and not leave Barcelona at the end of the season like he has stated? Should we be over there lobbying him to stick around? What do you think, Guillermo?
I think it's okay. I think his decision to leave at the end of the season is the right one, and as much as he's going to give, if he even gives us a Champions League, it's his decision, and I respect it.
All right, let's go to Samuel Lino scoring for Atletico Madrid. 32nd minute. This is the winning goal against Dortmund. They win today 2-1.
Came off Hummels. He was unsided by his teammate. Now Griezmann. Little flick ball. Big chance for two. It is two. It's Samuel Lino, and it's another horrible piece of Borussia Dortmund defending. And Atletico Madrid are 2-0 up inside 32 minutes.
Ends 2-1. All right, the women's NCAA championship game, Iowa and South Carolina, it made history. 18.9 million viewers. And at times it went up to 24 million. Okay, just think about that for a second. Okay, and as I mentioned going to break, there's one reason for that, and that's Caitlin Clark. It surpassed the men's NCAA championship game between Purdue and UConn. They had 14.8. Now, you factor in, that was on TNT. By the way, I couldn't find it. I didn't have a, it wasn't on my Fubo thing. I couldn't find it. So I didn't watch it. This, and then of course you had on the ESPN platform, you had Iowa and South Carolina in the afternoon on Sunday. So you had a high-profile Monday night slot, Sunday afternoon, for whatever that means, right? This just outperformed so many things. Grammys, SEC football title game, Kentucky Derby. I mean, I think it's the highest viewed basketball match in 5 years. Now, the growing popularity of women's sports. Do you know what the rights to the women's final was? They were sold for $6.5 million. I would imagine that's going to go up next year, despite Caitlin Clark not being there. The rights for the men's tournament, which had fewer viewers, if you want to say that, you know how much they went for? $873 million. A little bit of a disparity in investment. TNT versus ESPN, Monday night primetime versus Sunday afternoon. Pretty amazing stuff. Back to Caitlin Clark. I want to play this audio of her because I think, again, you don't get these numbers without her. I'm sorry. You know, you can cry and say, oh, why aren't you talking about South Carolina? Well, South Carolina, guess what? They got to win their national championship in front of the largest viewership ever because of her, okay? So whether you like that or not, that's a fact. That's a fact. They weren't tuning in for really anybody else, even though we know these are all talented basketball players. These numbers don't happen without Caitlin Clark. Here's her response to popularity, which I think is really well measured. I think she's an incredible interview, and she's going to be a great spokesperson for the game, no matter what Diana Taurasi and some of the women in the WNBA who seem to be moaning a little bit about her. I don't know why you would. All ships are going to rise with the tide with Caitlin Clark coming to your league. You're going to have more eyeballs on it. So I would embrace her if I were them, but it's just weird how sometimes we eat our own, you know. Here's this great defining moment for women's sports, and everybody decides to personalize it, turn it into things it really isn't, when it should be just a pure, absolute celebration. So here's the class, the wordsmithing of Caitlin Clark, who is going to be an incredible spokesperson in the future for the game of basketball on the women's side.
The biggest thing for myself is, like, you know, when you're in the spotlight like this, there's going to be, you know, a million different opinions on you, and for as many people that are going to love you, there's going to be people that don't like you, and you know, that's the case with every professional athlete, men or women, playing at the highest stage. And I think what I've been able to do over the course of my career is just focus on the opinions of the people inside our locker room. That's what I really care about, the people that I love to death, the people that, you know, have had my back every single second of my career, have been the ones that have believed in me more than anybody. And to me, that's really the only opinions that I'm concerned with are my teammates, my coaches, my family, the people that I want to make proud every single day.
You got to love it. And the things she said about women's sports and, you know, the growth of it, man, you want her on your side. There's no question. Great stuff. Great stuff. It's inspiring, though, to see people under that kind of pressure be able to handle it that so well. By the way, she never berates her teammates, even when she finds them and layups are missed. She never argues with referees. She's harassed like nobody else in any of these games defensively. And by the way, people did good work on trying to throw her off, including that number 10 for UConn, and then also the South Carolina young lady. But she never loses her composure. It's impressive. I won't tell you what I was like when I was 22, that's for sure. It would be a nightmare. All right, 713-780-3776. We're going to have Pat Onstad, the Dynamo General Manager, is coming up next on the show. MLS rule changes. This could affect the Dynamo roster build here. Could they go for another DP? Did they go for 2 DPs and 4 under-22 players, or 3 DPs and 3 under-22 players? It's a lot of options now. I'm going to ask Pat about potential signings. We're going to talk about Sebas Ferreira's injury. A lot coming up here. Soccer Matters, ESPN 97.5. And when we come back, it'll be Dynamo General Manager Pat Onstad. Quick one here. Hugh O'Connor's Pub, I-10, Marquee Entertainment Center, whiskey, beer offerings, fish and chips, shepherd's pie. Get in there, say hello to Goose and David. Danish Inspirations, Modern Contemporary Furniture, the best in modern contemporary furniture, brought to you by Jan Christensen. And get over to Cactus Music. My friend Quinn and I, we're getting ready for the world's greatest rock and roll band, April 28th, the Houston opening of the Stones tour is here. But Cactus Music, the best in vinyl selection, new and used, CDs, books, everything music. We take a break. Dynamo General Manager Pat Onstad is next.